What's up everybody, this is Danny and this is the new iPhone 17 Pro Max in this super polarizing orange color. The new design, the new telephoto camera, and the cool new front-facing camera make this look like an automatic upgrade, but do you really need to upgrade from your iPhone 16 Pro Max that you just got? Well, that's why I'm here. I'm gonna compare the two, tell you everything that's new with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and of course, I'm gonna compare the cameras to see if you actually need to upgrade. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right in. First, let's look at the design. Size-wise, they are very similar, but the design is definitely different. I know some will like it and some won't, but that's just the nature of a design update. But there are two things that you will notice. First is the camera square in the glass area on the body that gives it a two-tone look. I think it looks most natural on the deep blue body, but on the silver and orange models, it definitely sticks out more. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is just clean and simple, so let me know what design that you like better. The material has also changed on the new iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. Apple's moved back to aluminum where the 16 Pro Max is titanium. The 17 Pro Max is slightly heavier and feels sleeker in the hand almost. That same feeling with the iPhone 8 Plus, but thicker if you remember what that feels like. And Apple's reason for the change is because it dissipates heat faster. There's a new vapor chamber this year on the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max to take advantage of the new material choice, and this makes a big difference when cooling the new A19 Pro chip. If you're a gamer, then you need to check out Bored It Works video where he checked out the temperatures during intensive gaming, and it looks like Apple backed up their claims because it consistently stays cooler than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. My real-world application of this was when I was testing the cameras in the Florida heat. Just after a few minutes, the screen on the 16 Pro Max dimmed because it was overheating, but the 17 Pro Max still stayed at max brightness, so that's a big deal. The display is the same 6.9-inch ProMotion 120Hz OLED, and they both look fantastic, but the iPhone 17 Pro Max this year gets 3000 nits of peak brightness over the 2000 nits on the 16 Pro Max, so that is a nice bump up, but to be honest, using them side by side, it was hard to tell a huge difference. The new screen also has 3 times better scratch resistance, but I put a glass screen protector on it anyway. I'm gonna let other people test that. I'm going to protect my investment. The iPhone 17 Pro Max also has a new anti-reflective coating as well. I am definitely noticing a difference using it on a daily basis, but unfortunately if you put a screen protector on there, it won't really matter. The rest of the changes outside of the cameras are internal. You get a 2TB storage option. It will cost you a whopping $2,000 though, so only get it if you need it, but know that the storage is faster on the iPhone 17 Pro Max this year. The new A19 Pro chip as expected is faster, but also know that you're getting 12 GB of RAM in the iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the 8 on the 16 Pro Max. Paired with better cooling, you'll see a boost in speed all across your applications and tasks. The battery is also larger on the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but it will vary by region. So if you have a SIM card inside, then you'll have a smaller battery, but the eSIM models like I have here have a larger battery. So the one that I have here is 5088 milliamp hours versus the 4685 milliamp hours on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You also get faster charging too this year on the iPhone 17 Pro Max at 40 watts, where the 16 Pro Max is capped out at 27 watts. But you know what's crazy? Look at the size of this phone versus the huge portable power station. Which one do you think charges faster to 100%? This is the Anker SOLIX C1000 Gen 2 portable power station, and I partnered with Anker to show you how this 1024 watt-hour battery charges to 100% in just 49 minutes with ultra fast charge mode, and this can charge my iPhone over 60 times. Isn't that insane? My biggest concern with portable backup power in the past is the anxiety that it will take forever to charge if I needed it, but the C1000 Gen 2 eliminates this. I live in Florida, so power outages and hurricanes is something that I have to think about every year, but having something like this gives me peace of mind because look at all of these ports. 240 watt USB-C PD 1.3 port so I can easily power and charge my MacBook Pro 16 at the same time, and a 30 watt USB-C for topping up my smartphones. This might be overkill, but it can charge 10 devices simultaneously so it can power all my household electronics, tablets, cameras, and fans that I would need during a blackout, but it can also power a full-size fridge so my food won't spoil. Yes, not just small mini fridges like you've seen before, so this 2000 watt output with up to 2400 watt surge wattage via surge pad is a game changer. With all of this power, you would think it'd be much larger, but it's very portable, so taking this out camping or using it for outdoor cooking is a major go, especially when you pair it up with a solar panel. This 100 watt one from Anker is affordable and is travel friendly. It folds out, and it also has a kickstand that allows for 4 different adjustments to maximize the angle so you can capture the most sunlight. The best thing is that you can chain them together and get a maximum of 600 watts, which can charge this from 0 to 100 in just 1.8 hours, which is amazing. You can either use the built-in screen to get all of the info that you need, but you can also pair it up with the iPhone 17 Pro Max via the Anker app to control all of the features of the C100 Gen 2, and you can even see that it does software updates to improve performance just like a smartphone does. I think the icing on the cake is that this battery is meant to last, so it's not going to take a performance hit in 6 months to a year like a smartphone does. This is built with long-lasting 3rd gen LPF4, so this is made to go more like a decade, so this isn't just a standard lithium-ion battery. This is a perfect everyday backup battery power solution, so I'll leave a link down below. It's on sale right now, so check current pricing. I think it will surprise you just how affordable a powerful portable power system like this actually is. Alright, so let's get to my favorite part, the cameras. Are they actually better? The biggest changes here is that the iPhone 17 Pro Max has triple 48 megapixel sensors, where the 4x telephoto is larger at 48 megapixels, where the iPhone 16 Pro Max has the smaller 5x telephoto at 12 megapixels. Okay, let's start with the front-facing camera. It's super hot out here, but I had to check out Epcot's Food and Wine because it's probably one of the best festivals all year. But let me know what the video looks like, what microphone sounds better, if there's an improvement at all. And there is something new with the front-facing camera this year on the iPhone 17 Pro Max, so let me show you that. It's called the Center Stage Camera, and check this out. It has a new square sensor where I can just hit this button right here and change into landscape without even rotating my phone whatsoever. And look at the wide angle that I can get in landscape and in portrait as well. This is a game changer for the front-facing camera, and I think if you're gonna upgrade for anything, it would be for this. So what do you guys think about that? Oh, and it also works in video too. So that's why I think it's a game changer. So let's start with the daytime photos. The main sensor has similar specs, so I tested it to see if there's a difference or not. As expected, the daytime photos are fantastic and they look similar on both, but here are some of the differences that I noticed. First is the clarity. They're both left to default 24 megapixel output and they both look fantastic, but when you inspect the IPA at the top, look at the foam. There's so much more detail there, so I had to keep pixel peeping. Check out the sneaker shot exactly from the same height, and again, they both look great, but when you punch in, you can just see how much more detail there is on the ground and the toe box itself. It almost makes it look like the 16 Pro Max looks blurry. Another shot from the same distance on one of the stores here at Hollywood Studios, and they both have great natural background blur, but punched in, look at the detail and the sharpness of the fabric itself. I have so many more samples, so if you want to see a more in-depth camera comparison, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely make that happen. I wish it was that easy and I could tell you that everything is better, because that's what I thought at first. Even macro photography was looking better. Look at the highlight control, it's way more balanced. The colors on this scene are more accurate, so I thought this was going to be a complete wash. But depending on the scenario, you might notice a purple tint to the photos on the new phone, kind of like what Google Pixels do. Now, I think you would only notice this if you saw shots side by side like this, and I think in most photos you won't even notice them at all. This is the worst of the examples that I was able to get, and I'm sure this is just a software bug, but let me know if you've been dealing with this or not on your iPhone 17 Pro Max. In terms of dynamic range, they both look very similar, but here the older iPhone 16 Pro Max does a better job of controlling the highlights in the clouds up here. So sometimes you will get a better photo on the older phone, but for the most part, I think you'll get better details on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But to be real, if you have to pixel peep this hard to notice a difference, then you might have to think about if this is something that you actually need. I did try the 48 megapixel output, and here are the results. This is interesting, and I think that reactions will be mixed. When you punch in, you can see that Apple clearly backed off the sharpening here, and I think photographers will be happy about it, but the average consumer might think that this looks a lot softer, so I see both sides. I personally think that backing off the artificial sharpening is a great thing, but let me know what you think about it. Where you are going to notice a difference is in the zoom and portrait mode. Let's do a zoom test. I'm not seeing a huge difference at all besides the way it handles the grass here. It's way more vibrant on the new phone, so I'm seeing a shadow bump here on the foliage, which does represent the contrast that mixed sunlighting is actually giving out. But here they are both matched to show you the quality difference, and I took them both on the same zoom to show you what it looks like, so you might not be able to see a huge difference here, but when you punch in, you can just see how muddy the iPhone 16 Pro Max looks like in comparison. The maximum zoom is also increased to 40 times on the 17 Pro Max, up from 25x, so the zoom is way better on the new phone, especially during the day. I also think that the portrait mode got a nice bump up in clarity. clarity, this is a main lens portrait, and look at the detail on my face and my shirt. It looks so much better. The 5x optical lens of the iPhone 16 Pro Max is good during the day, but 4x is a much better focal length, so you don't have to stand back as far. Here, the yellow tint on my skin is improved on the 17 Pro Max, so I'm glad to see that. In terms of color and skin tone, I like the improvement that I'm seeing, so let me know what you think. I swear that I don't remember the iPhone 16 Pro Max looking this washed out before, but the contrast is much nicer on the 17 Pro Max in this scenario. There is the 5x and 4x portrait mode, so I think you're getting a step up in the portrait mode department all around on the new iPhone, especially when the light starts dropping. That 5x sensor is quite small on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so the clarity and noise takes a hit, so I'll show you more of those shots during the nighttime. When it comes to the front-facing camera, you can see it has a wider field of view, so I like that. The skin tone and white balance look a little better as well. I might say that there's a touch of a beauty filter on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It definitely clears up some of my imperfections, and it's not as sharp as the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I took more selfies at night because I figured this is where people would want to see if there's a difference or not, and to be honest, there's some difference there, but I'm not seeing anything drastic. Here is that beauty mode thing that happens sometimes. This one is more drastic than the others, but what I am enjoying is the wider field of view, and knowing that you can get a close-up shot as well, that's a great thing. And you can also get a landscape shot without even turning your phone, so that is awesome. Sometimes the front-facing camera ends up being sharper on the 16 Pro Max, so don't expect any drastic improvements besides the wider field of view. I've always liked the front-facing camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so in terms of image quality, you won't have FOMO. All right, so here's what the nighttime looks like. From what I can see on the screen, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is more accurate in color, where it's a little bit more cold on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But let me know what the video quality looks like and which one do you think looks better from here. Let's get started with the nighttime photos and video. When it comes to nighttime performance, I'm seeing basically the same thing that I'm seeing during the day. You're going to see some extra clarity with some noise improvements, so I think that is great. I'm seeing some white balance differences as well. I'm liking how it picked up the green on the trees where it just lost that color on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Here you might not see a huge difference at first glance, but when you punch in, look at the details here on this particular spot. It's like it's lost on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I'm seeing some improvement on the ultra wide as well when it comes to clarity, but it comes at an expense to noise. The building looks clearer and you can see more ground detail, but the 17 Pro Max is noisier on the floor. You can see the exact same thing on the flooring here as well, but the 17 Pro Max does better with noise this time around. Just like the daytime photos, sometimes you'll get a better shot on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. The contrast with the white of the neon is really great on the older phone. The iPhone 16 Pro Max, I feel, has been tuned for so long, so this is just going to be natural. I'm sure that the iPhone 17 Pro Max will get a few camera updates before the end of the year, but let's go into zoom and portrait mode because I think that's where the differences lie. The image quality here is pretty much neck and neck, and I'm matching them on zoom levels so you can see how different they look. The telephoto lens on the iPhone 17 Pro Max is bigger physically, so you'll get better images for the most part. When we get into the heavy zooms, you can see that the iPhone 16 Pro Max starts to fall apart with artifacts, while the 40x zoom is not usable in this lighting, but I'm glad that the iPhone 17 Pro Max has a larger zoom range this year. Portrait mode, just like the daytime, gets an upgrade. Both images look great from the main sensor, but the clarity, the detail, and noise levels are better on the 17 Pro Max. Just like during the day, some of that yellow tinge from the skin and the environment is improved, so that is nice to see. It's not a drastic difference in most cases, but it's just really refined. Take a look at the skin tones on my wife and look at the hair, almost mirrorless camera-like, so it's very good on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I think if you use portrait mode a lot at night, then this is going to be a major win for you. The 4x and 5x in dark environments, they both don't look great, but it definitely looks better on the new 4x camera on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. The 5x camera at night is one of the weakest links in the nighttime photography experience on the 16 Pro Max, so upgrading will give you better results even without portrait mode. So that is pretty much the short version to give you a great idea, so let me know if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown. I have so many more photos and videos to share. The daytime video doesn't look all that different here. This is a walking comparison, so you can see the stabilization. The colors look similar and they both look fantastic. And here is that switch to the ultra wide if you want to see what it looks like when it comes to walking stabilization, but it's hard to see a difference here. But in this example is where I can see the difference in detail. Take a look at right here. There's so much more information retained here where it looks like it's smeared on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so that is good to see. Here is a video zoom test. It's very smooth on both. The iPhone has some of the best lens transitions out there, and going to the 8X on the 17 Pro Max, but I'm going to match that 8X on the 16 Pro so you can see what it looks like side by side. And if you look at the bricks on the structure, you can just see how much softer it is. So even when you go to maximum zoom on the 16 Pro Max, you can see that the 17 Pro Max is way better when it comes to detail. And you also get a new maximum zoom at 25x now on video on the new phone. At night, they both have very smooth video, no visible drop frames at 30 frames per second. I'm not seeing a huge difference from the main sensor, but it's when you use the telephoto lenses where I can see a difference. The 4x telephoto video on the iPhone 17 Pro Max is better, and it is such a usable focal length for video, so I think this is going to be a nice upgrade. But unfortunately, the lens coating is the same, so those little green Orbeez are there for another year. So after seeing all this, what do you think? Do you think this is worth the upgrade? I think that if you're coming from the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you have to really be a camera person to appreciate all the nuances and upgrades in processing on the 17 Pro Max. The new phone definitely needs some tuning, but I'm sure that Apple will work out some of the kinks in the months to come. But a direct upgrade from the 16 Pro or Pro Max might be questionable, but I say anything 15 Pro Max and under, I think it's a great upgrade, especially with the new front-facing camera. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Subscribe for a lot more videos like this one, and I will see you in the next comparison.